kind of something that I did because all of my friends were doing it, but that doesn't mean that I didn't enjoy it and love it. Going to university was not really a choice for me in terms of everybody from my school went to university. It wasn't really thought of as something you wouldn't do. That said, I did take a gap year, and I think that was definitely worth it. It gave me time to sort of experience a few more things and put some savings aside and work on my own independence before I came here, and had to start from scratch like a lot of people did. But yeah, I think it offered me a chance to make a lot of friends, get involved in a lot of things, and I'd like to think that I've made the most of it. So I was in sixth form at my school in Bedfordshire, and I did psychology, history, English literature and religious studies, so all essay subjects. Didn't really have a sort of media studies or film background before this, but it's always been the sort of thing that's interested me, always been something that I'd like to work on, and I kind of pursued it as a passion as opposed to the next logical step, because I've always had an interest in storytelling and writing and that element of it, particularly with English literature that I was doing. It really grew my love for language and stories, and I wanted to pursue that in more of a media-based format than trying to write a book. I think I have a very positive view of university. I mean, I know it can be hard to say given how much it's changed in terms of the payment structure and that kind of thing over the past few years. It is definitely now an expensive thing to do, but I do think it's what you make out of it, and you can make it a brilliant experience and really get your money's worth if you push yourself and you get involved in as much as you can and make the most out of what the course provides. But then I know there's a lot of people who don't do that and can sort of squander the opportunity, but you can't really put a price on that independence that you gain. And for a lot of people who jump straight into work and don't have the time to build up some money for rent and for a deposit on a house, it can provide that opportunity to get away from home and to sort of find out who you are for yourself. No, absolutely not. I think I came from quite a small village, about 200 people live there, and as somebody who couldn't drive, I was basically isolated in that little town. And to move from there to a city as big as Manchester and come to University of Salford, I think I've learnt more about what I want to do with my life and where I want to live and where I want to be 10, 20 years in the future. I wouldn't say that I regret it in any way. You know, I've made lots of friends, people who I will hopefully be in contact with for the rest of my life. I've made, hopefully, decent inroads into getting a career that I would find fulfilling. So yeah, I would not say that I regret it at all. I definitely wouldn't say that it's something that you should be required to do, and I know there's lots of different viable career paths and options other than going to university, but I think it is an experience that you might regret missing out on, even if it's not straight away, especially not when you finish and you realise the debt and the situation you're in. But in the future, when you're thinking back in your old age about the things that you missed out on, I think university will stand out for a lot of people. For a lot of people, cooking is a big thing when they move away from home and learning to take care of yourself in that way. I've always had a love and appreciation for cooking from my parents, but to be completely responsible for myself every meal is something that I really enjoyed and developed on my own. Haircuts are really expensive. You should save more money for haircuts. Don't go to bed with your shoes on. Don't start smoking, because whilst it actually is a decent way to socialise and get to know people, it's really expensive and probably not worth it in the long run. Get cheap furniture. Get waterproof shoes. Invest in a good umbrella. Like, not a cheap, shitty one, get a good umbrella. Your loan will go away very quickly. Be prepared for the final semester when it just runs out. Definitely try and get a job and try and work while you're at uni, but don't panic if you can't. Try and make that up in the holidays and try and enjoy your time at university. Try not to be constantly worrying about organising your course with your shifts and that kind of thing. I know that's not an option for a lot of people, but personally I worked very heavily during Christmas and Easter, saved that money up and then used it over the course time. So I think that is hopefully an option for some people. Always leave a window open if you're drying clothes. Damp is a nightmare. Change your shower curtains regularly if possible. Don't let landlords fuck you over, because they can be real bastards. It's not sarcastic. Landlords are bastards. Make sure you put the time in when you're looking at universities. Make sure you put the time in to look at the courses that you want to do. Always remember you can apply to more than one course at one university, because I know a few people who thought that one was the limit for each university. Speak to them as much as you can, get as much information out of them, make sure it's something you really want to do, because I've enjoyed my time here, but if I was stuck on a course that I didn't enjoy as much as the one that I did, I could have perhaps squandered it a bit more. If you don't want to come to university, that's absolutely fine. Do whatever you want to do. I mean, I probably don't even know you, so I don't know why you'd listen to me on this, but yeah. Take care of your teeth. Well, before I came to university, I was working during the second part of my gap year full-time as a butcher. And I think I would probably be still doing that if I didn't come here. I think because I was from such a small village, there was nothing around, I would still be doing that job. And I might be happy, but I definitely wouldn't have experienced any of the opportunities that I've had here, wouldn't have made the friends that I did, and I wouldn't have learned that this is the place that I want to live.
Unless you want to say anything else.
No.
That's fair enough.